Hello, I'm Bill LuMaye, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. Today, we're discussing sustainability, and we're joined by one of the area's leaders on the subject, Megan Anderson, the Sustainability Director of the Raleigh Office of Sustainability. And Megan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I didn't know we had one, an Office of Sustainability. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So we started back in 2008. And we're a small but mighty team. So we are part of the city manager's office and we work with all the various city departments. So we have over 24 different city departments on sustainability work. And we also work with anybody in the community. So it's pretty exciting. We think of sustainability as a lot of things. So it includes environmental work, of course, and then also economic development, equity, environmental justice as well. So you can really think it's almost everything in the kitchen sink when we think about different things going on in the community and how we can make it a better place for everybody.
And what do you do there? What's your responsibility?
So I'm on the city's executive leadership team, and it's a really good place to be, I think, to get this work done because we work really closely with the leadership and then also anybody in the departments on these various tasks. And so, as mentioned, we've had a long history of working on environmental issues. And actually, back in 2021, we worked with hundreds of people across Raleigh to come up with Raleigh's first community-wide climate action plan. And we do have a greenhouse gas reduction goal of 80% by 2050. But I'm really proud to say in Raleigh, we were one of the first cities across the country to really put a climate plan together that not only focuses on greenhouse gas reduction, but just as important, addressing equity and environmental justice and building community resilience to the impacts of climate change as well.
So how do you do that? Because, and pick one because there's a lot there. Equity, social justice, climate change. How does that work within the scope of the city and people planning and policy that's being passed?
Yeah, so I think a difficult thing with this is it really kind of is everything in the kitchen sink. And so how do you get anything done, right? It's tough. And these are really big topics that have a lot of different things happening. So we have a lot of examples of different programs we're running. And so if we think about our community climate action plan, so it's set up for high impact. So not only for greenhouse gas reduction, but with the equity and resilience. And with that, we have our topic areas related to high impact. And so those include energy use in buildings. So everywhere we live, work, and play, how do we reduce our energy? How do we look for cleaner energy options? Transportation and land use. And within that category, how do we get around? How do we get around not using our cars? How do we get around with cleaner alternative fuels and electric vehicles? And how do we plan for our cities so that we are more sustainable into the future for future generations and more walkable and accessible for everybody? When we think about climate change, it impacts people differently. So unfortunately, some people are disproportionately impacted. So those that may be very old, very young, those that work outside, those, unfortunately, that are lower income, people of color, they're disproportionately impacted. So it could mean that you live in a low-lying area, which historically decisions have been made where certain people were put in certain areas of Raleigh and other cities across the country, and you have more flooding. You may have less trees and less shading or opportunities for weatherization in your community, and you might be more impacted by heat issues. So two of the issues in Raleigh that most impact people from a climate change perspective are heat and flooding. Thinking about strategies we can come up with that can really help folks meet people where they are and then come up with things that bring everybody up together when we're thinking about these topics.
Well, you were talking about the climate action plan. And energy is part of that, and reducing energy and some of those other things. How are you going to do that?
So one really exciting program that we're really happy about and excited about right now is called Solarize the Triangle. So we came together actually throughout the region with other local governments, 12 other local governments and many community partners to put together a plan to offer solar to the community And basically it's group purchasing. So everyone can come together, and the more people that sign up, the cheaper it is for everyone. And we're working with contractor that is very well vetted. We work together to make it a best practice. It's a little intimidating, I think, for some people to go into something that can be a little bit confusing and technical, but we've really worked with folks to make sure that's well vetted. It's a great program, and the more people that sign up, the better it is for everybody. And we're actually working on some opportunities right now to actually also include low-income folks that there may be barriers for them to sign up for something like that because there's an investment. We're actually working on a program right now in their second year of the program to also make sure that that's accessible to others in the community that may not have that ability.
So overall, and you said Raleigh was one of the few, at least initially, how does this impact the climate overall? If Raleigh's doing this, what do you expect the end result will be ultimately? Because if your goal is to reduce greenhouse gases, how will that impact our lives? Because there's a cost involved, obviously.
Yes, there definitely can be. And I think there's different things. So one thing I'll say is our climate plan is built so that everybody can see themselves in the plan. So it really talks about those high impact areas like energy reduction, clean energy, clean transportation, alternative fuels, stormwater, community gardening, different things too. So there's something, whether you're a homeowner, you're a school teacher, you're a nonprofit, something for you to do within those different topic areas at whatever level and accessibility that you can do. So the city's trying to set a foundation to create resources. So for another example would be, we've created an EV Ready playbook to create the resources to kind of understand what are the different options that you have. As I mentioned, heat and flooding are the biggest climate impacts in Raleigh and the region and a lot of places around the world. And so with that, we've actually done some really good work. A few years ago, we came together with Raleigh and Durham. We had the most community engagement of any city across the country, so you can tell a lot of people are really excited to work on these issues. And we mapped out urban heat islands across Raleigh and Durham. And since then, we've been able to create a lot of projects that help us mitigate heat. And folks that are more affected by heat and flooding, we're trying to prioritize those first when we're going out in the community. We also had a pilot project we work on in transportation where we have this cool pavement technology. So after they pave the streets, we're able to put this technology on the street that actually reduces not only heat, but also pollution. We also work really closely with a group called Partners for Environmental Justice. And a few years ago, we created a program called the Walnut Creek Watershed Learning Network. And we're able to empower the local community to learn about flooding issues. And so we talk to them about what that looks like to work with government. They are able to do projects in their own communities and we pay them for their time. And it actually is really good for us because we learn a lot more about what issues they're dealing with in their community. We also have a Ready Raleigh emergency preparedness guide that we work with several departments and the community on. And that has anything from how do you deal with a pandemic to a heat issue, to flooding, to a hurricane. And really, that's really impactful because communities that come together and are able to really have that social cohesion before an event really do better.
And for people who would like to learn more, how do they do that?
Yeah, so on our website, if you search sustainability and climate action, and we have a climate action dashboard that shows kind of how we're doing over time. There's volunteer opportunities and lots of things people can take advantage of.
Awesome. Well, thank you for doing the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
all the information too. Hey, stick around because we'll be right back.